Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umberways, and guess what day it is? It's Nier Day! Oh my god, so many of you are so excited out there, and let me tell you, we got the data here, and by we, I mean me, the royal we. Let's talk about some things that have happened recently. Because honestly, this raid seems to be pretty damn recycled. It seems to be basically the same thing that you've seen before. Not really that much to talk about. There are a few other things, you know. I guess in general it's just going to be nice to get all the stat pots. Stat pots are good, right? So, no real big complaints about it. But one thing you'll note upon logging in, besides the fact that, well, if you did buy Lapis at the end of last month, you should get your rewards today. So if you spent a total of 8,800 yen, which is basically the biggest bundle on the JP side, you will get 5 UOC tickets like I have. Yeah, that's right, I spent some money last month. So what? The other thing is that rank rewards have also been increased to level 30, and a couple of things to note is the fact that, you know, you get a whole bunch of these, but a couple of UOCs, so provided that you're rank 30, or you can get to rank 30 in any amount of time, guess what? You will get some very nice rewards. And as a matter of fact, that's considerably very nice rewards for me because, well, that puts me right over. Look at that, I'm up to 15 UOCs all of a sudden. Isn't that beautiful? The other thing to note is that apparently there are some guaranteed 5-star pulls, which basically include the units you see here. Squall, Tidus, Ace, Lightning, Cloud, Angry Shantoto, Noctis, and Fire and Ice Laswell. So if you're interested in any of those units, you're guaranteed at least a 5-star on this. This will only be around for so many hours, so consider wisely. The other banner, Awakened Rain, Mercenary Ramza are the two best ones, and I would say that the rest are really, really bad. So I would stay far, 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 far away. Unless you need, like, maybe one more Lunith for Super TMR, in which case I understand, but I don't support your decision. And the other banner that has seemingly just kind of popped up is this one, which has some summon tickets, it has some golden equipment, and it has some big gill snappers. Pass, easy pass, easy pass. Yes, I know a ticket normally is 500, but a daily is only worth 250, and a 3-star base ticket just isn't worth that much to me, so there are much better ways to spend your Lapis than on this. But, of course, the big thing is the Nier banner, and of course that's what you're all curious about. What does it look like? Well, first of all, I do like the step up, and if we go back and check out the raid for a second, and just enjoy the music in the meantime. We go all the way down. Let's just take a peek here. Oh. I actually don't see any limited time tickets this time. Methinks that there may be a problem with this, but I guess I haven't seen anything else about any extra things. Let's just double check, because I believe, yes, you need a total of 5 of these tickets to get guaranteed A2 or 2B. And let me tell you, if there's no 2 in the raid, which I kind of thought there would be, I'm actually horribly surprised. Let me just double check that. Is this a... That's pretty bad, Alum. Well, then this step up might actually be a little bit more bait, because I believe you only get 3 tickets on this one, meaning that you still have to do another 2 5K pulls to get these tickets? Are you kidding me, Alum, on this one? Definitely devalues the step up if that's the case. apparently Alan was not being as generous as we thought. And to get the other ones, you will need to do 11 pulls, so consider this very carefully. And of course, if anything changes, I will make an update about it. But let's talk about these two units. First of all, 210. Absolutely, definitely worth it. 210's TMR is incredible, to say the least. The mechanical heart that basically auto-heals with some HP and spirit bonus put on this. This has been proven to be amazing with tanks in the past, and I assume it will be continuing to be amazing in the future. So at least getting one of these is something I think every player should strive for. And of course, 9S's TMR, the pod with chaining for basically anyone. Cannot, again, explain just how important it is to get probably 2 of these. I would recommend that is, you know, through the raid, you're probably going to get enough Trust Mastery to get a couple of these, hopefully. So I would say that it's okay. Now, moving on to Eve. Eve, I don't think is anything super fantastic. Kind of an interesting TMR, 30% attack, and when your HP drops below a certain percentage, you know, you get a bonus, but honestly, if you get one of them, fine, but I'd still say that 9S is worth the prize. Now let's talk about what everybody came here for, starting off with 2B. Now, 2B in 7-star kit did get some of the stuff that I think she needs, and pretty much will probably, I think, cement her as the strongest dual-wield unit in the game. Possibly. Keep in mind that dual wield isn't the strongest option, and the other thing is that, you know, the damage formula did go a little bit of the ways to essentially make dual wield more damage dealing compared to true dual hand, but it might be okay. It's kind of hard to tell. In her 7-star kit, she gets 2 new abilities. One on a 7-turn cooldown available on turn 1. Increase attack and defense 250% for 5 turns. Mitigate damage 40% for 5 turns. Enables access to other abilities. And her other cooldown abilities, 4-turn on a 4-turn cooldown, does a lightning damage to enemies, 15-time mod to 1 enemy, and a decreased defense of 65% to 1 enemy. And enables access to a couple of abilities. For what she got, for equipping her own TMR, she basically, it's attack and defense plus 30%, 100% when true dual hand, so you can kind of build her as a true dual hand, though probably she might be better as dual wield, 7% MP recovery per turn, and upgrades her limit burst. So, yeah, some of the things she needs. Attack, Spirit, and MP get increased by 40%. Increase of physical damage to machines by an extra 50%. Increase attack 50% when dual wielding, which kind of pushes her more towards the dual wield. 20% extra attack, 20% defense. Limit burst damage up of 50%. And an increased modifier of 10 times to avoid attack and extract speed. So some of her old moves do get a nice little bonus from going to a 7-star, which is fine. And the abilities that she does unlock are stronger abilities that she gets for, you know, multiple turns. Some chaining abilities, it looks like, in there as well, which is, you know, kind of nice. And a lot of her attacks also work to increase modifiers on some of her other attacks. So it's kind of Axe-Star based. She will be, like I said, probably the strongest dual wielder in the game easily. But with that being said, dual wield is not exactly the best. She can do also elemental damage, which is kind of nice, but again, without really trying her too much, it's kind of hard to know her potential because she does need to use her cooldown abilities, and some of her cooldown abilities are not activated until at least turn 4, so we're looking at probably a longer term fight for her. And her upgraded limit burst is maxed out. Physical damage 16.5 times, ignoring 50% defense to all enemies, mitigating damage taken 20% for 5 turns to the caster, and gives an increased modifier of 10 times for 5 turns to her self-destruct feature. So honestly, is she any good? I don't know. Like I said, she's probably the strongest dual-wield unit in the game. She does get some nice MP recovery, as well as some general fixes to her kit, but a lot of her kit it seems to be based on unlocking abilities. And really, all of that is okay, but I don't know if it'll be quite enough to really push her meta. And speaking of units that I'm not entirely convinced will be pushed meta, is this girl, A2. Now, A2's kit looks pretty well, remarkably similar to the global side, and I have to say that's probably okay. I mean, it probably means that global people, you can take a look at what A2 is now, and that's probably pretty accurate to what you will get her. Most of her kit seems to be generally okay. Her limit burst is definitely one of the things to take note of, because it is maxed out a physical damage 15.5 times, ignoring 50% defense to all enemies, gives an increase of attack of 250% for 4 turns to the caster, and increase modifier of 1000% to, I believe it is her self-destruct, similar to 2B. And I don't think I see Berserk in here at all. So let's talk about her 7-star, because she does have the W ability. She does have a, way to inflict Berserk on her, which gives a 300% attack boost for multiple turns. But then you can only auto attack or use regular attacks. It does give her counter, but again, really, that Berserk is just kind of not super good if it's just using her regular attacks, which, yeah, I guess that's what Berserk means. But in her 7-star, her first cooldown ability, available turn 1 on a 5-turn cooldown, gives her an increased modifier 4 times of 5 for 5 turns to multiple of her abilities, enables access to, for 4 turns, a couple of other abilities, and allows A2 uses skills 3 times except for 1 ability, which I believe, let's see if I can get a translation on that going. Basically her Berserk ability, which I guess why would you want to triple cast that anyway. But unfortunately, in the data that we were given earlier, she doesn't have constant access to triple cast. That would just be slightly too strong. So on a 5-turn cooldown, being able to use triple cast for 3 turns, it's okay. I don't think it's anything, wow, holy shit, is it broken? Really, it kind of depends what she can do. And with that being said, she does have a chaining move actually in her kit, which is AT frames, meaning that she has the potential to chain with both, what's his name? Axstar, oh yeah, that guy, yeah, as well as this, basically the CG Reagan style of chaining, the 8 hits at 6 frames. And given her attack boost that she can get off, multiple ways, and triple casting on that, A2 is not necessarily bad. She also has Pod Lady, restore 3000 HP, 60 MP to the caster, and increased limit gauge for 5 turns. And Hatred Blade, which is on a 3-turn cooldown, available turn 3, increase physical damage to machine by 100% for 2 turns to the caster, and does an 18 times mod attack to the enemy. Again, feels pretty strong. In her 7-star kit, for equipping her own TMR, you get an increased attack of 40%, an extra 10% physical evasion, and an increase of physical damage against machines 50%. So if you were fighting machines, yeah, her own TMR would be great. Otherwise, for only losing the 40% attack, you could probably equip a better greatsword on her and be perfectly fine and lose basically nothing. Anyway. Also, she has an increase of defense of 30%, increase of limit burst damage of 20%, which kind of makes sense, her limit burst seems pretty powerful, an increase attack equipment when dual wielding. This is kind of split again. I would rather she just have more true dual hand in her kit. She does have, enable dual wielding with one-handed weapons, but Or, I mean, she does essentially have natural dual wielding in her kit, but probably you just want her true dual hand, in which case she only has 100%, or 150%, sorry. In her 7-star, her last ability gives 40% to Spirit, an increase of 50%, so basically 150% true dual hand in her kit. It's okay. It's okay, an increase of a modifier of 4 times to her dash slasher, heavy attack, avoid, and slash. And the 2 abilities she does unlock is kind of well, she has an auto regen, but her heavy attack avoid is a physical damage 7 times mod with evade 1 physical attack for 2 turns to the caster. And that's the AT chaining, and that is an unlocked ability. So what do I think about this banner? Well, first of all, I gotta say that probably the best stuff on this banner is still 9S and 210, because they're incredibly easy to get, and their TMRs are incredibly valuable. Unfortunately, one of the things that really knocks this banner down quite a considerable amount, and the step up, is the fact that we just don't get 2 extra of these limited time tickets from the raid. What the fuck, Alum? I really got to give it up to you guys. You guys have earned 2 big well, they're not thumbs, but you've earned something up. It does hurt because you're essentially depending on the step up for 15k Lapis to generate you a second rainbow unit, because otherwise you're stuck with 3 limited time units and nothing else, I guess, to get them, unless the limited time unit tickets are coming at some point later, like maybe on the raid challenge. But if they're not there in the raid rewards, I'm very skeptical that we will see an extra 2 free tickets. So yes, I'd say that 9S I would say that A2 does look like kind of a fun unit, just for her counters that are in her kit, as well as some of the extra damage she can do against machines, and the potential that she can dish out a fair amount of damage. 2B is probably the strongest dual wield unit, and that's good news because it does add a little bit of value to her since the damage formula has changed on the JP side, and dual wield units are potentially more usable. But honestly, I would say that this is a pretty safe banner to skip unless you're looking for a little bit of fun with A2, or you're just a general fan of the Nier series. Dear Alum, the fuck were you thinking on the raid rewards? Anyway, you guys, that's all for this video. I am going to see you in the next video when we are going to be taking a look at what is the true hype behind this banner, Squall's enhancements. No, I'm not joking on this one. See you next time.